Detroit Pistons guard Jaden Ivey has become a forgotten young star in the NBA. The Pistons had one of the biggest turnarounds in NBA history this season, going from a 14-68 record and the worst team in the NBA to 44-38 and the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference in only 1 year. But people have forgotten that while Cade was the one that was performing in the playoffs, they might have not gotten there without the early season contributions of starlet Jaden Ivey. Ivey was in the midst of a breakout third season as one of the most explosive guards in the NBA, but a broken left fibula ruled him out for the rest of the season, and due to this injury and Detroit's rise, many have forgotten about him. With a possible off-season extension looming, people are questioning if Ivey can take the Pistons to the next level, or if they should just trade him for pieces to win now. Either way, this forgotten young Pistons star is in one of the weirdest situations in the NBA. How's it going, my friend? I'm Alexander from Load Management Media, and let's talk about it. Jaden Ivey came into the NBA as a player with potential to become one of the best young point guards in the NBA. With comparisons to Ja and Russell Westbrook, the sky was the limit for Ivey, but his first 2 years in Detroit didn't go as planned. He enjoyed a solid rookie campaign that showed some nice flashes of his ability, but the Pistons were kind of a mess. In his second year, which was his last season, he and especially the Pistons had a down year. It seemed like Monty Williams wasn't the biggest fan of his, and at times, due to the way they were being utilized, the fit looked off between Ivey and Cade Cunningham, when at one point they were slated to be one of the most exciting young backcourts in the league. But in year 3 for Ivey, he was really good. Ivey put up career highs in points, rebounds, steals, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage, averaging almost 18, 4, and 4 with 1 steal, shooting 46% from the field, a 3% jump from the year before, and 41% from 3, which was 7% better than his best three-point shooting season as a rookie. Ivey was great. This guy looks like the most explosive guard in the league when he's at his best for me. He really improved as an all-around scorer and how controlled he looked on the court. His shot creation got so much more efficient, mainly from the three-point line. His pull-up shooting from 3 went up by 5%, and although his mid-range percentage dropped a bit, he was creating more and hitting tougher shots. In only 30 games, he was almost halfway to the amount of shots inside the restricted area that he shot the season before, at nearly the same percentage. So he was getting to the rim more and finishing at the same rate. The biggest difference in his scoring jump, though, was in his catch-and-shoot threes. He jumped to a 45% catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, a 10% jump from the season before. He was absolutely lights out. Overall, if you watch his games, or highlights even, you see a guy who knows where his shots are going to come from and where he needs to be in the offense to get them. Unfortunately, Ivey's progress was quite short because he only ended up playing 30 games. On January 1st, he collided with Cole Anthony on a loose ball where he had to get stretchered off. It was later determined Ivey broke his left fibula. At this point, he was really starting to find his rhythm, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. And while Ivey was out, as you may know, Detroit slowly climbed their way up the standings, jumping from 15-18 after Ivey went out to 44-38, where they put up an extremely valiant effort against the conference finals bound New York Knicks, in a series where a lot of people thought the Pistons should have won. It was actually possibly rumored that Ivey could be back for the playoffs as he returned to some team activity, but it never panned out. As a result, Ivey slowly became forgotten. With the ascension of Ausar Thompson and the veteran contributions of Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway and Dennis Schroeder, and Ivey eligible for his first extension, the question is, what's next for Jaden Ivey and the Pistons? At only 23 years old, Ivey is still one of the most exciting young guards in the league, with already 2.5 years of experience under his belt. I am very high on Ivey, and I think in the right situation, he could still be a superstar. However, in the wrong situation, he could end up as a 6th man like he did for times in his second year. It seems as though Pistons president Trajan Langdon has indicated that he would like Ivey to stay. But with Jalen Duren's possible extension looming and Ausar's the year after, Detroit has some decisions to make for sure. I still like the fit with Ivey and Cade, even with Ausar on the floor. I believe Ivey will be a plus shooter as well, probably consistently around that 37 to 38% mark from 3. Most people who follow the Pistons and the league, however, think it's unlikely the Pistons will extend Ivey this offseason, and that around 20 to 23 million per year, Ivey will probably likely say no and bet on himself this upcoming year that he's worth more. The other option is a trade for the Pistons and Ivey if they think that he'll walk for nothing next offseason. And I think that this is a likely scenario. People in the Pistons community have swirled around the idea Ivey could be traded for someone like Devin Booker. This would give the Suns a good piece to start a rebuild and give the Pistons a win now piece, but also one that isn't too old. Booker is also from Michigan as well, so who knows? I think the most likely scenario, though, is probably that Ivey doesn't re-sign and he and the Pistons play it out. A healthy season of Ivey and Cade with the development of their other pieces could take Detroit to the next level, and could even push Ivey to an all-star berth if they do have a good year. Jaden Ivey was forgotten by most after a really exciting start to the year, but this upcoming season, Ivey will remind everyone who couldn't remember just how talented he truly is. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories on the most interesting young players in the NBA related world. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.